Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. So, we're doing something slightly different today. We're going to be talking about the Game Awards. The Game Awards are coming up on December 9th, 2021. Of course, there's multiple categories. I think they have like 23 categories or something crazy this year for different awards that are going to be given out. And then also the Game Awards is one of the things we always look forward to every year because it's when new video games get announced or sometimes game gets release dates. We're going to be talking about some predictions that we might have as well for what could potentially be seen there. I'm just going to throw out some random stuff. I might bet some gifted subs on for the Twitch channel, which we are live on Twitch when we're recording this. We stream 4 days a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and you're more than welcome to join us. Now, we are going to just dive straight into this because we got a lot to chew through. I did already click this first one, so I think the vote's already in there. I'm going to go ahead and cast my votes while we're going through it. I know that I have played very, very few of the games that are here being nominated for the Game Awards, but that doesn't mean I can't vote. So we're just gonna go straight into it. So we're starting out with the Game of the Year. I have played 0 of these: Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. So here's the thing, okay? I already glanced at the nominees on IGN or whatever. They had it all in a long list. I am sad that Deathloop got nominated for so many things, and I don't know jack shit about Deathloop, but I am so tired of Deathloop. I've never played it. I've never touched it, but I felt like Deathloop was getting a trailer and a new announcement and something else at every single smallest little scrippity scrap of games media. Every single state of play, every single gaming event, everything, you were just guaranteed to see Deathloop there. They went so over the top with marketing for Deathloop. I was tired of hearing about Deathloop before the game even came out. So to see it get nominated for 7 different categories in the Game Awards, I'm just I don't care. So tired of this game, and I want to see it win anything, not because I don't think it could be good, just because I don't want people to talk about it. So just as a heads up, it's nothing against Deathloop in terms of its quality, but any category that it comes up in, I'm automatically just going to pretend like it isn't there, just as a warning. So this is the only time I'm going to talk about Deathloop for the rest of the video. Just a warning on that. Cool. All right. So the rest of these, I'm going to give my vote to Metroid Dread because I feel I know that a lot of people have talked really good about It Takes Two, but I feel like It Takes Two just isn't going to make it. And I don't feel like Resident Evil Village deserves it. And I feel like I've heard not enough good things about Psychonauts 2 to where I'm surprised that it's even in the nominations. I feel like it's actually going to come down to either Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart or Metroid Dread. And I've not really looked too closely at either of these games. I feel like in terms of what we want to see from a game of the year, and in terms of what you want to see put on that pedestal, I think Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is actually what belongs on that pedestal. But I know that a lot of people are just raving over Metroid Dread. I've played through 2 fully and own 3. Congrats! Which ones have you played, and which one would you put on here? Because personally, having played none of these games, I feel like it's one of these. I played Resident Evil 7, and I know that 8 is a little bit larger, more actiony Resident Evil 7, and I just don't feel like that is Game of the Year material. Looking at Resident Evil 7 as the foundation and building upon that, I don't see Resident Evil Village as quality in that, something that it needs, that it gets that accolade. Now, maybe just not that much has come out this year, and maybe that's why I haven't played very many games that have come out this year. But you own Ratchet & Clank, but you never played any game in the series. I have a PlayStation 5 right here, but I've not gotten Ratchet & Clank yet either, because I've never played any game in the series. So, but what I've seen about it and what I've heard about it is it's going to be the closest thing to a defining game of the year, which I don't feel like a lot of these other games achieve that based on the knowledge that I have of them. But I've never played a Metroid game either. So I got nothing on any. I didn't play Psychonauts 1. The only game that I have any like relative applicable experience with, get the hell off of my screen calendar, is Resident Evil, and I just don't feel like that game is of enough quality that it deserves a Game of the Year award. I love Metroid, but It Takes Two was just the bite-sized fun that I needed in a co-op game. And that's what, and I've heard similar things, but that doesn't sound like Game of the Year quality. It sounds like it's a good time that you would enjoy with somebody else. But when I think of Game of the Year, I think of this landmark pillar stone of a game that just for a year defines the top quality of what a video game is. And I feel like that's what these two games are. Based on what I've heard, read, and watched of reviews, I feel like that's what these two games are between Metroid Dread and Ratchet & Clank. Now, that said, Metroid Dread is just revitalizing a very old formula, which is why I'm actually going to leave my vote on Ratchet & Clank, because Ratchet & Clank, while it does have its foundation in the Ratchet & Clank series, it's moving forward and adapting with new technology and a new approach in terms of graphical fidelity, gameplay, and taking advantage of modern technology in a way that is, it is the game that did it this year and nothing else really did. I didn't love the story, but it was just pure fun. But again, that's why I'm going to stick with this. Okay, I don't expect every category to take that long, but Game of the Year is a little bit larger. So let's go ahead and, how do I go to my next vote? Next category, found it. All right, Best Game Direction. Again, so see, again, this is also one of the things that always like confuses me with awards shows, because some games get nominated for like 10 categories. Like I know Ratchet & Clank and It Takes Two is in here multiple times as well. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Okay, so Ratchet & Clank for me is not that. Neither is this. Neither is Psychonauts. I feel like that means it comes down to one of these two. Returnal is probably the closest thing to a genuine AAA, or what did they say? It's like AA experience, kind of like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is supposed to be. It is the most polished, high fidelity roguelike experience that we have had to date, and I have heard incredible things about it. But I don't know if it breeds a new vision and innovation in game direction and design, which means that It Takes Two is probably where I'd go with that. Because we do have some games that are like really high-end cooperative experiences, but they're very, very few, right? Like we're talking about A Tale of Two Brothers and A Way Out, is that what it's called, where you're breaking out of prison? I can't remember the actual name of the game. I could see it in my head. But there's very few games that are actually in that space of this is a cooperative experience, and not that you can play it with a friend, but we built it specifically with that in mind. And I think that's what makes this something that is more defining in that genre. It Takes Two did a good job of changing game mechanics enough to keep things engaging, and that's hard to do. All right, Best Narrative. What game has the best storytelling and narrative development in a game? I have seen some of Life is Strange True Colors, and I've heard that Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy actually has a really enjoyable story. Like what I've been hearing and seeing is that Guardians of the Galaxy is what Marvel's Avengers should have been. But it goes here, because this is more about the experience. This is just another Marvel story that's told better. Psychonauts is a fun adventure in terms of like how you jump through people's dreams and stuff and their brains and it allows you a more creative space in game and world design, but that's more about playing with world design rather than telling a genuinely deep story, which is what Life is Strange does. Like that's what I've seen all of the first game, none of the second one, and I've probably seen about a quarter of the third one, which is True Colors here. And these games are so good at telling stories. And that's because that's largely what they are, right? There's not a whole lot of like genuine gameplay. It's kind of like the Western version of a visual novel, just like with a higher end 3D engine that you can actually move about in. But ultimately, like, they boil down to effectively a visual novel at their core. And they do it really, really well. So, best art direction. This is easy for me. And it's this one. Kena Bridge of Spirits, on its very first trailer, I was like, I don't care what that is. That is one of the most beautiful video games I have ever seen. Because, like, Ratchet & Clank is also very, very beautiful, right? But it's beautiful in the way that it's just really high-end textures. Like, everything, like, Ratchet's fur looks like fur, right? You're like, man, that looks really good. But it's a... Even though it's very stylized, it's more about it looking real rather than having a very beautiful art direction about the actual design of what's being presented. And that's why I don't think that there's really an argument for anything that isn't Kena Bridge of Spirits here. I actually don't know what the Artful Escape is, so I might be completely missing out on this, but the fact that Kena is Ember Lab's first video game pushes it even further. Right, and I'm still avoiding spoilers hardcore because my physical copy hasn't gotten here yet, so I haven't been able to touch the game at all, but everything that I've seen about this game, it is so visually captivating in every single way that it's one of the things that every time I see it, I stop wanting to talk and just want to watch. Like, just look at this game in a way that, and it's different from anything else, because I felt the same way in a similar sense about, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, it was more about being entranced by seeing these characters that I've seen in all these other mediums and seeing them made in a modern engine with modern technology and just being like, wow, Cloud looks fucking cool. Kena is so much different in that the entire presentation is stunning on a level that is just beyond the ability to properly describe. And whatever Ember Lab does next is going to still be on that same level. And I'm so impressed by what they have managed in a visual space that is able to be played. So, 100% Kena. Best score in music. I have no idea. I have not... So, the Artful Escape looks like a music game, but I don't know what it is. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy actually has a lot of original music. Like, they straight up effectively made their own 80s band to make music for the game. It has a lot of licensed shit in it too, right? But they also have their own original score that's been put in there. And I've heard good things about it. Did they re-record the music for Nier Replicant? Because this is a remake, right? Nier Automata is all I have to compare it to, and it had really good music as well. I've also heard really good thing about Cyberpunk's soundtrack, but they also have licensed music in this. They did re-record everything for Nier? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure which direction to go with this, and it makes for outstanding music, including score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. You know, me personally, I feel like if you're giving accreditation because they spent money on licensing, that's kind of weak. I don't know if I like that very much. But I do know that Okabe makes good music. So I'll give it to Nier. Best audio design. I have no clue. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. I have no idea. This is something that you can't speak on if you've not played the games. Because audio design is part of what makes a game immersive and also can genuinely affect gameplay itself. Like, I play a decent number of first-person shooters, and so many modern shooters are struggling with 3D audio to where, like, if you hear someone running, you go, they're over there. So many of them are struggling so hard with that. I'm gonna move the camera a bit because I want that tree in the picture, and I'll just scooch over. Nice. Anyway. But yeah, so many of them are struggling really hard with that. And I don't know enough about, like, these games having not played them. So, That said, okay, I was not very impressed with Resident Evil 7. One thing that it did do really well was its audio design. There was some times in Resident Evil 7 where I'm like, man, that is disgusting. Like, that was way too visual for what was just sound. I have heard a little bit about Returnal having decent 3D audio because it was really important to the game to survive in a roguelike experience of being able to hear where the enemies were coming from, because like avoiding damage is huge in that game. So I'm gonna go with Returnal just because I'm basing that off of what I've heard from reviewers that I trust. Best performance. All right, what do we got? We got Alex from Life is Strange True Colors, very, very good. Esposito from Far Cry 6. He's barely even in the game. Like, they've used him for marketing so much. He's in maybe 10% of the game. He was paid for marketing, not for performance. It's not like Keanu Reeves where in Cyberpunk where Johnny is with you for like the entire frickin' game. He shows up for barely any of Far Cry 6. Same thing here with Lady D, right? That was one of the things that people were disappointed with Resident Evil Village, was that Lady D is actually only in like 15% of the game. And she was, again, like that pillar of marketing, right? Alex, you get it. Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. We have Before Your Eyes, which I've not heard of. Boyfriend Dungeon. What? Okay, you know, I have no idea what Boyfriend Dungeon is, but it absolutely sounds one of the games that you go, holy shit, when you see it on Steam, right? You're like, damn, maybe I should turn on those adult filters. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's something better and I'm just unaware, but that's definitely the feeling that I get looking at that. Chicory, A Colorful Tale. I've heard good things about this, that it's cute. Life is Strange 2 Colors, and then No Longer Home. The only game of these that I have I believe I saw a trailer for this, and these other 3 games I have genuinely not heard of. I haven't played any of the games, but I do own Boyfriend Dungeon. This sounds like a dating simulator that I probably played on some Flash website in like 2002. You date weapons who get waifu'd? Okay, well, all right. We're going with Life is Strange and moving on. Best ongoing game. Apex Legends, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, or Call of Duty Warzone. There is no question about it. This game, in terms of what they managed with Final Fantasy XIV, I've heard so many bad things about the way that Apex is being handled lately. Fortnite is just still rolling along. Like, it's still hyper popular, right? But I don't feel like Fortnite is doing anything beyond just being Fortnite. Genshin Impact, no. And it's not because I have anything against Genshin Impact. I have something against its developers / publishers because they're hyper greedy people. And then Warzone, I can't speak too much on Warzone, but I also feel like Warzone is kind of in the same place as Fortnite, where they're just keeping the engine running rather than genuinely moving forward, where Final Fantasy XIV Online has, one, rebuilt itself and kept moving forward ever since. So, Final Fantasy XIV. Best indie game. Not 12 Minutes. Not Death's Door. Like, this game I've heard good things about, but also that it's just like, they did a pretty good job, right? Loop Hero? Don't know on that one. So Inscription and Canon Bridge of Spirits are here, okay? Now, like, I've watched a bit of Inscription, and Inscription, I just believe that Inscription is going to win, okay? Because, and it's not because I think that Kana doesn't deserve it, but I have heard nothing but overwhelming, outstanding, screaming applause for Inscription. So, I'm pretty sure this is what wins, but I would like to see Kana win because I would like to see it be given additional, not accolades, but recognition. That's the word that I wanted. Okay, but I bet Inscription walks away with this. Best mobile game. Ooh, okay. So not Genshin Impact, not Pokemon Unite. This is like Pokemon Unite's kind of fun, but it's definitely not what I would call the best mobile game. Marvel Future Revolution is a gacha game of gacha games. Like, it's so generically gacha. So that brings us to League of Legends Wild Rift and Fantasian. Okay, I have played both of these. In fact, I have played 4 of the games. I have only not played Marvel Future Revolution because I looked at it and went, haha, no! But I've played all 4 of these other ones. It is not Pokemon Unite. The game's not that good, okay? It's fun, it's cutesy, but it's not that good. Genshin Impact, no. Also, like, here's another thing that confuses me at the Game Awards, right? Is that the Game Awards no longer care what year it is. Genshin Impact came out last year. How is it the fucking mobile game of the year for 2021? Anyway, but Fantasian's older than that too. But part 2 of Fantasian, which finishes the game, did come out this year, so I'll give it a pass. League of Legends Wild Rift is just League of Legends adapted to mobile. What game do I think will take it? I think it's probably either going to be Genshin Impact or League of Legends Wild Rift. Probably League of Legends Wild Rift, okay? Because it's a genuinely good adaptation of a mobile game onto mobile. Now, obviously, we've had like Mobile Legends Bang Bang that already did it really good for a long time. And this is just Riot Games encroaching on that territory. But they did do a good job. It's clear that they took some notes from Mobile Legends Bang Bang. But this is a pretty actually good experience. The game that I would like to give it to is Fantasian. Now, unfortunately, no one will have fucking played this game. So, Fantasian is made by Mistwalker, which is led by Sakaguchi-san, which is the original creator of Final Fantasy. But you can only play it on Apple Arcade, which means that nobody will have fucking played this game. And that's unfortunate because it's actually a really, really, really good RPG. It's like a traditional turn-based RPG. It feels like freaking Chrono Trigger if Chrono Trigger was made today. And I'm not even joking when I say that. It's really good. It's really good. If you have an Apple device in your house, I'm not recommending you go get one to play this game. But if you have an Apple device in your house, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad or whatever, please play Fantasian. It's really good. Having a few months free was great, but I couldn't justify the subscription. Even if it means you pay $5 to Apple Arcade, play through Fantasian in that 1 month, it's worth it. It is 100% worth it. This game is good. The characters are good and entertaining. The story is good and entertaining. The gameplay is really satisfying. I don't believe it'll win just because I don't believe anyone's freaking played it. But it does deserve recognition. Okay. Best community support. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, or No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky got an award at last year's Game Awards for like the best comeback story, right? But I don't know if that recognizes community support. Community support, transparency, responsiveness, including social media activity and game updates and patches. That's this. That is again Final Fantasy 14. That's what gets this. Not Apex Legends. EA and Respawn have not been handling this game well in the last year. Destiny 2, same thing, right? Fortnite, I don't know enough about how Epic Games communicates to its players in terms of Fortnite, but I just feel like Fortnite is just this machine that has a lot of money and a lot of fuel and just keeps rolling on healthily, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have great community support. And No Man's Sky, they are doing better today, but Yoshi P and his team at Square Enix are some of the darlings that exist within the gaming sphere, right? Freaking Yoshi P had to delay the upcoming Endwalker expansion for Final Fantasy 14, and the dude got up on camera and through tears apologized for having to delay the game for 2 weeks and he called himself selfish. As he said the game is delayed because of my own selfishness of wanting to put even more stuff into this expansion. And that is just one singular example of Final Fantasy 14. I don't see how anyone else gets this unless there's just something that I don't know about someone else somewhere else. Apex community support is ass. Well, all right then. Innovation and accessibility. The Vale is in here. It goes to this. Okay? It goes to this, no questions asked. All right. And this is so cool that this got nominated. I doubt it'll win, but I'm giving it my vote strictly because this game exists, okay? It's not Far Cry. It's not Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not Ratchet and Clank. For me personally, the only game that isn't the Vale that could get this is Forza Horizon 5. Forza Horizon 5 does so much for accessibility. It doesn't do everything because accessibility is really hard because there's so many people that have different needs in accessibility. But one of the things, and I'll give a singular example of like something that's really cool that Forza Horizon 5 did. They have a sign language option. You can turn on an ability for the game to have freaking American Sign Language done, and it literally green screens a person in the corner who does sign language for all of the freaking voices in the game. That's so cool, right? Like, that is cool. That is a huge expense that they added in for the sake of accessibility. It's got a lot of other accessibilities too, but that's like going beyond normalcy, right? Of like, colorblind options or keybind options and stuff like that, right? But the Vale, if you have not heard of this game, I do not blame you. And I need to play this game. So for those that do not know, my largest fear in life is being blind. That is something that I fear more than anything else. I don't know if you can call it is a great massive fear of mine is being blind. I like, oh God, I get tense in my chest thinking about being blind. In the Vale, Shadow of the Crown, you are blind. The main character that you play as is blind. It is a blind accessible game. There is not a visual in this game. If you're looking at the screen, it is a black screen with some pretty like fireflies on it, essentially, like twinkling stars. The character cannot see, and therefore you cannot see. The entire game is done through audio, and that includes fighting a fucking bear with your sword and shield. And it's not like, you know, choose an option. You are fighting a bear as a blind person. And it uses binaural 3D audio to give you the ability to hear and try to see through what you can hear. This game is amazing that it exists, because it is a game that is made so that someone who is blind, completely blind, can play it. And that is amazing. And I'm sure it'll probably, unfortunately, go to one of these other games, because these other games have more accessibility options in terms of, like, if you only have one hand, or if you can't mash a button, or if you have color blindness, or whatever, right? In terms of accessibility options, I'm sure that these other games do more. But in terms of trying to, what this says right here, push the medium forward in accessibility, this game deserves that recognition, because it is doing something that no one, as far as I'm aware, no one has tried to do. Question, what if you are deaf? Well, if you're deaf, you wouldn't be able to play this game. But if you're only deaf but otherwise able-bodied in terms of like having vision and having, you know, working hands, you could probably play these other 4 games without issue, right? You just wouldn't get the sound, right? Also, if you're deaf, Forza Horizon 5 has American Sign Language as a language option. So, like, it's much easier to play a game if you're deaf, because games are mostly visual that you'd use, you know, inputs for. So if you're only missing hearing, it does mean you'll miss out on the audio side of the game, but you could still play a game and enjoy it immensely. I mean, yeah, but being blind is something completely different. I genuinely hope that the Vale wins, strictly because this is something that I myself as an able-bodied person had never even thought about, right? Had never even thought about making a game that someone who is completely blind could play. And that's amazing to me. And that's why he gets my vote. All right, moving on. Best VR or AR? I have no idea. I'm going to give it to this, though. Because I have seen what they have done with Resident Evil 4 VR, and I'm pretty fucking impressed. I don't know about Hitman 3. I expect you to die too. That kind of just looks like keep talking and nobody explodes, just based on this visual. So, okay. I have no idea what Lone Echo 2 is. The visual has me interested. And Sniper Elite VR, no. This is a more in-depth version of this. Not literally, but in a sense. So, I don't know what this is. This visual definitely catches my attention, but they did a really good job with this. Best action game. Yeah. I'm going to give it to Back 4 Blood just because I play that game and I enjoy it. I imagine that, like, fuck, this shit might get it. I don't know. This game, it looks pretty good, too. Don't give it to this. Far Cry hasn't done anything since Far Cry 3. And Chivalry could get it, no problem. Man, that is a gruesome picture. Obvious bias, absolutely. Best action adventure game. I'm gonna give it to Guardians of the Galaxy. Honestly, though, outside of like Resident Evil, any of these could win and I would not be upset. I don't feel like Resident Evil Village really deserves as many nominations as it got. They are all bad in my opinion. Fuck, damn. But like, as long as it's not Resident Evil, I would not be upset with any of these getting it. I don't feel like Psychonauts 2 is actually on a level of quality that it gets these nominations either. I just don't think that much has come out this year. But the rest of these, give it to any of them. Like, just give it to any of them. I mean, I liked Metroid. It's the only one I played. Best role-playing game. All right. Cyberpunk 2077. What are you basing this on? Game designed with rich player customization and progression, including massive multiplayer experiences. That's really vague, my guy. That is super vague. Okay. Player customization? What? What do you mean by that? Because when I think of player character customization, I think of like a character builder where I can change what I look like, right? But that's not necessarily like, there is no character customization in Tales of Arise at all. I mean, I guess there kind of is. You can choose your outfits and stuff, right? Unfortunately, these are all games that I want to play, but for one reason or another, haven't managed to yet. Monster Hunter Rise, I was waiting for the PC version because I didn't want to play it on Switch. Cyberpunk 2077, I'm waiting for the game to be done. I just haven't gotten around to Scarlet Nexus yet. We are currently playing Tales of Arise on our JRPG series that we stream on Fridays, and Shin Megami Tensei came out like a fucking week ago. So, I'm going to give it to Tales of Arise just because that's the only game that I've actually touched, and it's a very beautiful and fun game. Cyberpunk equals 0 customization. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, maybe it means, like, options for the character, but how can anyone make an informed SMT decision right now? Well, one thing to keep in mind with the Game Awards is that this is not strictly based on what we're voting. The jury is actually made up of a panel of essentially like gaming news outlets, and most of them probably have already put out reviews on Shin Megami Tensei 5. And most of them probably put out reviews on most of, if not all of these games. So it's like 80% of the voting weight is made up by the jury, and the other 20% is public vote. So, or it might be 90-10 or something like that. I know it says somewhere. Our vote doesn't actually weigh very much in terms of what the game of the year is. The jury makes up more of the actual vote. So, In terms of character customization, I'd say Cyberpunk. Yeah, because the character builder is huge in Cyberpunk, right? But I don't know. It's a very broad description. Best fighting game. Best game design primarily around head-to-head combat. Demon Slayer? I thought this arena fighter was more like PvE. Like you play... I didn't realize this was a PvP game. Like a head-to-head game. You've got my vote? Oh. Guilty Gear Strive, which is a controversial game. Melty Blood Type Lumina is good. Nickelodeon All-Star. Virtua Fighter 5. This is just a remaster of Virtua Fighter. Yeah, it seems like the Ninja Storm games. It does, which makes me like, is it a PvP game? Maybe I just don't know, right? I've not looked that closely at it. You know, I don't know what game gets this. My guess is Guilty Gear will walk away with the best fighting game of the year just because it is the biggest budget, most promoted, most amount of advertising, probably the highest visual quality game that is out there. But in terms of like the best designed fighting game, it's this. This is the best of a designed fighting game. I've played Virtua Fighter. This is literally just Super Smash Bros. Melee with Nickelodeon characters. I've played both of these. I haven't touched this because it looked like a fucking PvE arena fighter. So, yeah, Guilty Gear is really good in terms of its music. So is Demon Slayer, yeah. It's like the Naruto game. Yeah, right? Which is why I'm kind of confused, but surprised that Guilty Gear doesn't get a shout out for OST. There was people raging about that on Twitter. But in terms of like the best designed fighting game, this one. Melty Blood Type Lumina. Game's a really good fighting game. Best family game. Best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. It Takes Two, Mario Party Superstars, New Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, or WarioWare Get It Together. No, the co-op in this is actually very limited. I didn't realize that more than one person could play New Pokemon Snap. We own it, but I didn't realize there was like a multiplayer feature in it. It Takes Two it could get this. I guess It Takes Two because Mario Party ruins friendships, and that includes families. Oh, hi, Nintendo. Yeah, right? Fucking 4 Nintendo games in here. And I'm going to give it to the non-Nintendo game because I don't feel like these are it. And this is the best, like, actually genuine family game. But I also know that people get really ragey at Mario Party, which means it's not necessarily a great family game. We should play It Takes Two. We should. In all that extra time we have, Athena. Best sim strategy game. So here's also a problem that I have with the Game Awards is that if I feel like a game is going to win one category, I don't want it to win another one. Like, because like I definitely think Inscription is going to win Best Indie Game, so I don't want it to win Best Sim Strategy Game. I think it should go to this though. I think it should go to Age of Empires 4. They've done a lot with making what is a genuinely good strategy game. Also, why is sim strategy in the same category, right? That's like, what is it that's at the fucking Oscars? They have like comedy drama in the same category or something like that. It's like, those are not the same. Those are not the same at all. And I don't feel like you should be comparing what is effectively Civilization against an RTS builder like Age of Empires 4 against Microsoft Flight Simulator versus a card game. Comedy and musical, that's it. Those are not the same. Those should not be in the same category. Those should be separate categories. And I feel like these should be separate categories. Why are these in the same one? I have no idea what this is, by the way. I've never heard of this in my life. But these other ones, I feel like they're all separate. Like, Civilization and Age of Empires are at least marginally the same. This is a card game. And this is something completely different entirely. Age of Empires 4. Best sports racing game. Forza Horizon. F1, fuck FIFA. Riders Republic is kind of arcadey. It's fun, but meh. Hot Wheels Unleashed is a very cute, stylized racing game. Forza Horizon 5 is like genuinely a really good racing game. Forza Horizon. Best multiplayer. Back 4 Blood, maybe. Knockout City, no. Why are you even here? It Takes Two. I mean, so here's the thing. When I think of best multiplayer game, yes, this is a really good cooperative experience, but it's kind of a singular cooperative experience where you can keep playing like Back 4 Blood or Monster Hunter Rise, not New World. Is that multiplayer or co-op? I mean, those are the same. Like that's what it means, right? I don't feel those are the same. In my mind, they're not, but by definition, they are. This is not it. Like, here's the problem with MMOs in general, right? Like, yes, they are massively multiplayer games, right? However, most MMOs, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, New World, they are single-player games that have other people playing that single player game around you that you sometimes do things together with, right? That's how MMOs work. They are single player games that you just happen to have other people around for. So I don't feel like they should ever win best multiplayer game. Since there aren't many purely co-op games, I can understand why it'd be hard to categorize. No, you're right. I understand. But, like, I feel like the main draw of Back 4 Blood is the co-op. At least it is for me. So, it can be very lonely. They are lonely games. They're single-player games. I'm going to give it to Back 4 Blood. It's genuinely the game that I have enjoyed the most in multiplayer. I could see Valheim also taking this. Content Creator of the Year. As long as it's not Dream, I don't care. It better not fucking be Dream. This guy is not a good person, okay? I don't know who Fusely, Gauls, or Ibot, IBA, I don't know. Gref, I've seen you. I was there for your Fortnite reveal that set world records of the most people watching a single stream. You hit like 2.5 million people watching you at once, and you seemed like a genuinely nice person. I vote Gref G. This is the point in the nominations where I know nothing. I only know Dream because of all of the controversy and all the terrible things that they have done. And I know Gref G only because of I was there at his Fortnite announcement. And I've watched a couple of his videos. I mean, obviously he speaks Spanish a lot because he's Spanish. But he seemed like a genuinely nice person. I don't know these other three people at all. But my opinion is not Dream. Hopefully these three are cool people, and if one of them wins, cool. Gref I'd be fine with winning. Dream equals dog water. No, because I would give my dogs like nice, clean, good drinking water, right? And Dream's worse than that. So, best debut indie: The Artful Escape, The Forgotten City, Canna Bridge of Spirits, Sable, or Valheim. Okay, I don't know what this is. The Forgotten City is a Skyrim mod turned into a standalone game. Sable is a very interesting approach. Valheim is just another... It's just another open world survival crafting game, right? It's kind of cool, but it's not doing anything genuinely unique, in my opinion, or special in any way. This, on the other hand, is something that stands out so brightly. So brightly. Putting it on canon. Most anticipated game. Why is this a category? Whatever. Presented by Prime Gaming. Wait, this is the only category that has had this that I noticed anyway. Elden Ring. I haven't played 2018's God of War yet. I own it. It's right down there next to my feet. I just haven't played it. Same with Horizon. I don't want to say lukewarm because it's not quite the right word, but Breath of the Wild I enjoyed, but it definitely wasn't the mind-melting experience that it was for so many other people. What should we dump our money into? Elden Ring. I'm biased on that too. And we just haven't seen anything about Starfield. All we know about Starfield is it's Bethesda's Fallout / Elder Scrolls, but in space, right? Like, they got Fallout for post-apocalyptic on Earth, they got Elder Scrolls for high fantasy, and then Starfield is going to be their sci-fi version of that. Which, like, that sounds cool, but I can't say I'm excited for Starfield when that's all, like, what I just told you is all we got about it. It is Fallout in space. It is Skyrim in space. And I'm like, cool. I'll be more interested when we get more on it. So, mine personally is Elden Ring. Especially because it's a new approach in a genre that exists. Whereas these are all just continuations of things that we've had previously. Elden Ring all the way, take my bank account. Best esports game. Fuck, I don't know. I have no idea. Also, it is very entertaining to me because you got Counter-Strike, right? And then you got like Weeb Counter-Strike, and then you got Dota, right? And then you got Weeb Dota, like, and then you just got Call of Duty over here on the side. Like what? You got two games that are, like, you got two sets of games that are the same but different. And then you got Call of Duty. No 2042? What? I mean, Battlefield 2042 is not in a good spot right now. I'm going to give it to League because it's the only one that I might halfway care about. I don't care about Counter-Strike or Valorant, and if it's between Dota or League, I actually have invested time in League, and I don't give a shit about Call of Duty. I enjoy playing Call of Duty, but Call of Duty is a weird-ass game, in my opinion, to be competitive because of the way that the game works. This is presented by Grubhub? Okay. Best esports athlete. All right. Do I recognize any of you? Simp, Showmaker, Collapse, Simple, and Tens. I know your name, therefore you win. Congratulations, Showmaker. I don't know who. I've never heard the rest of your names. Simple? I don't know who he is. What does he play? I don't even actually know what Showmaker plays. I've just heard his name before. Best esports team. FaZe? No, I don't like anything FaZe Clan. DWG Kia? What? Vincier Sentinels. Alright, well, apparently you play LOL. I don't know. I don't know any of these teams. You're who I just voted for you here, so I'll vote for your team as well. Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel. Oh god. Best esports coach. I don't recognize any of your names. You're wearing a FaZe hoodie though, so not you. I have no idea. No. I'm gonna you got a suit and tie on. There you go. Giving it to you. Best esports event. PGL? Like Pro Golf League? Is that what that is? That can't be what that is. That's got to be something else, right? When you pick the guy that drug his team down, Lamau. I'm over it. PGL is CSGO? Okay. The International. For what? I'm going to go with 2021 League of Legends World Championship because it's the only game out of any of these that I give a fuck about at all. And they actually normally put on like quite an event for Worlds. So that's it. That is all of it. Good lord. That was a lot. That was a lot. Okay. Lastly, though, because I want to manifest it into the universe, I will place a singular bet for the Game Awards, which is if at the Game Awards we get a new trailer for Final Fantasy 16, 5 gifted subs. And to go further, because I know this one isn't going to happen, if we get a release date for Final Fantasy 16, I'll make it even better for you. If we get a release window, and what I mean by that specifically is year and season, so like holiday 2022 or spring 2023, you know, that kind of shit. Not just a year, because it's not good enough. Nope. I need at least a season or a quarter or whatever and a year for Final Fantasy 16. I will add 10 more on top of that for a total of 15. Beyond that, I have no idea what else could fucking exist. We already got didn't we get a release date for Forspoken? Forspoken. I'm pretty sure this got a release date like randomly. No, it still says 2022. Oh, spring 2022 has a loose launch date set for spring 2022. Okay. You know, though, I would not be surprised if neither of those predictions came true. And the reason that I say that is because this game hasn't come out yet. We have not had, like, I don't believe we will see much on Final Fantasy 16 until after Forspoken comes out, because they are competing games from the same company. And it's no different than when we had Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake barely even existed at all in Square Enix's marketing, period, until literally a month after Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. Like, they literally said, hey, we're making Final Fantasy VII Remake. Enjoy. And then they went radio silent for fucking ever. And then they were like, Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts. And then as soon as Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, they gave it like 30 days to the day where they're like, yes, get us that Kingdom Hearts money for all those JRPGs out there. And then they went, we got their money? We got their money? Cool. Final Fantasy VII Remake, buy that shit. All of the fucking marketing. And then after that, they're like, all right, so Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. What are we doing after that? All right, well, we showed off Forspoken as a Final Fantasy 5, not Final Fantasy 5, as a PlayStation 5 and using Unreal Engine 5 and all this stuff. Oh, man. And then they're like, oh, shit, we also announced Final Fantasy 16. Which one of these is coming out first? Forspoken. And we've seen Forspoken at almost every event, right? They even got a special announcement event for Forspoken showing off the new technology in the AMD graphics cards. And Final Fantasy 16 has not gotten another trailer at all since its reveal and announcement trailer, right? Nothing else whatsoever at all. And I don't think we're getting anything on it until after Forspoken comes out. Once Forspoken comes out, boom. They're going to be like, get us that Forspoken money. And then afterwards, bam, Final Fantasy 16 will be fucking everywhere. But in the hopes that I'm already going to buy Forspoken, right? I'm already fucking sold on that because I'm a tool. But we will not see anything for Final Fantasy 16 until after Forspoken comes out. But I just I'm putting my bet out there to tempt the universe to take my money. So yeah, I don't have any other predictions. Maybe we will see the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Maybe. Fucking maybe. I mean, we did get like the trailer for it, but I still feel like that game is farther away than we actually want to admit that it is. Is there anything else that I want to see that could be at the Game Awards? Yes, there fucking is. You know what? I'll put one more bet down. If we get a goddamn release date for fucking Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, I'll give you 5 more. Because that game was supposed to release 2 goddamn years ago. So yeah, if we get a release date trailer for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and it's got to be a date, I'm no longer accepting anything beyond a literal month, day, year from them. I'll give you 5 more. That game needs to come out. Damn it. All right, that's all I got though. I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head that I'm like, I hope that's there. I hope that's there. Genuinely. Okay. But that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. You can feel the spite in this rant. It wasn't spite. It was just, there's people that are like, I can't believe it wasn't there. And I'm like, you don't know how business works, do you? They want all of your money. So they got to make sure that they are guaranteed to get your money from release number 1 before they give you number 2. And then they got to get all your money from number 2 before they give you number 3. And that's just business. All right, we're going to get out of here, though. I appreciate you very much for hanging out. This video ended up being way longer than I expected, but that's how my videos normally go because I talk too much. So yeah, thanks. Let me know what your thoughts are. Obviously, I mean, I hadn't played a lot of the games that are coming, that were nominated in the Game Awards, so I'm sure the people that have actually played these games are going to be like, excuse the fuck out of you. I beg your fucking pardon, bitch. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, thanks. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to have a more in-depth conversation, 2 great places to do so are on Twitter or Discord. Speaking of Discord, there's actually a channel dedicated to what we do on stream after our regularly scheduled content, and there's a channel where you can drop like trailers and stuff because we normally do reactions and stuff after our regular scheduled content. This is just like a special day. But so thanks to you for sitting through this. I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I'd love to talk. If you can't tell, I like to talk, and I'll talk some more if you're going to talk with me. So let's get to it. Anyway, also, as I've mentioned a couple times, we are live streaming on Twitch. We stream 4 days a week with videos like this one taking place after our regularly scheduled content on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'd love to see you there. Now, there's lots of other videos that you can go watch. So if you got watch one of those other videos on the YouTube channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.